What's up YouTube, Honeybee here, bringing you a new Mortal Kombat 1 video. And in this video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of showing gameplay like I normally do on the channel, I wanted to take some time to just discuss this upcoming patch for Mortal Kombat 1 that was announced previously, that has not come out yet, and what the state of the game is like, what I'm kind of hoping for when it comes to the patch, and just general things around that. So with that said, let's get started by just showing the tweet that NRS made about this patch. So for anyone that's been following the scene and, you know, keeping an eye on the Mortal Kombat 1 Twitter and all that kind of stuff, trying to hope for some kind of updates, we were pretty surprised, at least I was, when they made this tweet saying, "We look forward to players showcasing their skills at the highest level at this year's EVO 25 tournament. Soon after, we will be releasing some exciting changes," all right, exciting changes for Mortal Kombat 1. As always, we love to hear feedback from the community on potential changes. Stay tuned for more. Now, this was made July 22nd, and I never made a video covering it. I didn't feel like it needed a whole video to discuss it, but I think we're at a point now where some things should be discussed. So, you know, they made some pretty choice words in this tweet, right? Soon after EVO, right? That's interesting. Soon after EVO. What is soon, right? Soon could be immediately after EVO's over, could be a few weeks. I don't know if a month after EVO still qualifies as quote-unquote soon. At least in my eyes it doesn't, but I guess the word can be taken in its own way. Now, the other thing is they're saying exciting changes. Are they just saying exciting because they just want to hype us up a bit and it's not going to be that good? When it comes to patches in this game, a lot of times I feel like they're kind of underwhelming, right? Like the clear top tiers somehow continue to escape being like properly nerfed. I'm looking at you, Homelander, just saying. Like, there's characters out here that are just oppressive. You got characters that the majority of the scene at this point would agree are the top, right? You got like Cyrax, Sector, Havoc, Homelander, T-1000, and who's the other? Sindel. I think those 6 characters would widely be regarded as top 6. Now, the order could be, you know, debatable, but a lot of these characters kind of feel like they should be tuned down, and I think the whole community would agree in saying that Tremor is by far the best cameo in this game right now. He's given plus 50 bonus HP. He's giving armored launchers. He's giving safety for things that would normally be punishable. That's not only safe, but it's still your turn afterwards. He's giving hard to blockable situations. He's giving pretty much everything. And a lot of this was essentially in the game when he came out, but when he came out, he had such long cooldowns on his moves that it made people not really want to use him. You do one thing, you gotta wait like, I don't know, 15 seconds, 18 seconds to do something, but they severely tuned down the amount of time that you have to wait for his moves to come back, that it got to a point where you can literally do a combo, use the full cameo bar with Tremor, and by the time the combo's over, Tremor's back again to be used, and or he's right about there, and things like that just kind of makes it so he's just too good, especially like in comparison to the other characters in this game. So I think one thing that a lot of people were kind of just hoping for was, okay, they said soon after EVO they're going to be releasing exciting changes for MK1. A lot of people were out here just hoping and praying that this patch would come like 2 days ago on the 5th of August, on the Tuesday, because that tends to be like a day that NRS releases a patch. But lo and behold, nothing came out. Now, they didn't specifically say it was going to come out, so we can't necessarily blame them for not actually releasing something, but at the same time, it's disappointing. But either way, this was a tweet that came out. A lot of people were kind of excited. At this point, we're still kind of waiting, right? We haven't gotten the patch yet. Now, there are some other interesting things that I do want to point out. So let me show you guys. The next interesting thing I want to point out is the fact that, you know, fellow YouTuber, many of you are familiar with, Super, he made a video talking about that tweet, right? Saying how it will most likely be our final patch for MK1. The very interesting thing is that Boon himself had commented saying next patch being final is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. That to me is actually kind of shocking, because I personally was thinking that this next patch that we're gonna get for MK1 would be the final patch. But for him to say it's highly unlikely is kind of like, wow, okay, what else are we gonna still be getting? And to be honest, I'm actually just surprised that he would even say this. Like, even if it's highly unlikely, I feel like in general, the communication that we've had from like NetherRealm and like the developers and those type of things, the communication that we've had throughout this game has been pretty much minimal. So I was actually surprised for him to even say something like this. So for me, I just kind of feel like if he's going to actually come out and comment this, say something like this, I really hope you're not just like gonna pull this out from under the rug and next thing we know we're actually not going to get anything, because highly unlikely for this next patch to be final. Like, I would love to see more stuff. It's just that I need communication, you know. I need NRS to tell us what is happening. When can we expect this patch? What's going to be happening with it? Now, since we never actually got anything at this point, part of me is just thinking that maybe they're gonna do a combat cast whenever about this patch, kind of showing it off before it comes out. Maybe they're not gonna just release it on a random Tuesday like we were kind of initially thinking. Maybe we're gonna get it on the 5th of August. Maybe they're not wanting to just release it like that, right? Maybe they want to actually build it up a bit. Maybe they want to show a combat cast, show what's happening with the game and stuff, and then let us know when this patch is actually coming out. But it's like, if that's the case, when is this patch going to actually come out? Because they said soon after Evo, but if I'm looking at a calendar over here, we got a pro competition event coming up in just over a week. Versus Fighting in the UK is going to be on the 16th, 17th weekend of August. I think the whole thing is being played out on the 16th, which is a Saturday. But that's kind of making me think at this point, we're probably not going to get a patch before that, right? Like, that means probably no patch next week. Now, if they wanted to do one after that, maybe they could, which would be in, you know, a week and a half to 2 weeks from now. A final combat is supposed to be at the end of September, right? It's supposed to be like the 26th to 28th of September. So if they wanted to, like, they could let Versus Fighting play out. I think this is the final pro comp spot, right? They could let that play out on the 16th, give us a patch after would be nice, so that there's still a solid like 5 weeks before final combat actually happens, so that, you know, players that are actually in there can adjust to the new patch, new changes, anything happening like that. I think that would be ideal, because there's no way they're going to release this patch after final combat, right? Because if that's the case, now we're looking into October. But October is not soon after Evo, right? So in my mind, what makes the most sense at this point in the game's life, just when it comes to pro competition tournaments and stuff, would be let Versus Fighting play out on the 16th, give us a patch the week after, or maybe 2 weeks after. But ideally, I think it should be the week after, like on the 19th, which would be a Tuesday. That's when I think they should put out the next patch. But obviously, we have no information. We have no actual like real communication being given, letting us know when a patch is actually going to happen. So this is just, in my mind, you know, what would be ideal. Now, something I find kind of kind of funny is there is this Twitter account called the FG Sentinel. It's a troll account, all right? Before anyone goes believing anything they say, just let you guys know this is a 100% troll account. Don't get baited by this, right? They made this this tweet saying in a recently deleted tweet, NRS announced there will be no further patches for MK1, and then it just, you know, saying that they're not doing anything, saying that it was dated August 6th. But the funny thing is it says it was dated August 6th at 6:50 p.m., but they posted this August 6th at 11:54 a.m. So obviously it's fake. And if you just know anything about the account and you just look through the posts that they make, it's a troll account. So just letting you guys know, do not believe anything. All right, do not believe anything that they say. It is a troll. And one final thing I just wanted to touch on is just what Tweety has been saying. For those of you that don't know, Tweety is one of the qualified players for Final Combat. He won the NA East online tournament, beating Ninja Killa in grand finals to secure his spot. He's been using T1000 pretty much exclusively up until this point, and he was, I guess, in that same boat of people that was kind of hoping to get a patch on, you know, last Tuesday. And he made this whole tweet talking about how September 2nd is the speculated date. I'm not too sure why that's the speculated date, to be honest, but he's kind of like, you know, bummed about it, and rightfully so, in my opinion. Now, I will say, before we go and read all this, he did make like a whole tweet afterwards saying that he's just gonna give it his all and he was not gonna bitch about it, anything, whatever. So no more excuses. So he did kind of, you know, this is kind of like a doom and gloom type situation where afterwards he kind of, you know, pepping himself up a bit. But there's still definitely stuff to be taken away from this. And it is true, like, you're going to this tournament that has a lot of money on the line, right? You're going in with a character, maybe two characters that you're comfortable with, but you have no idea at this point in the game's life what's going to be happening with that character. Is this character even going to be viable to use or not? Should you be using your time elsewhere to work on something else? And in my mind, that is, it's a crappy place to be. Like, I'm not, you know, really affected whether or not my characters are getting nerfed or buffed, because I'm not out here traveling anymore. I just enjoy playing the game, streaming the game, watching the game, and putting up content around it. But at the end of the day, whether my character is top 5 or bottom 5 doesn't truly matter. Now, obviously, I would like some buffs, and to be honest, we could talk about some stuff that I would like, but yeah, I do feel for Tweety. I think it's unfortunate, the situation, and honestly, I really hope that we can get some changes and some communication, and let us know when is this patch coming out and what is going to be happening with this patch. Now, in terms of what I actually want from this patch, I'm just going to name a few things. I want definitely a nerf to Tremor, because, as I was saying before, he's too good. I've seen a lot of talk about how people are saying Mavado's too good. In my eyes, I don't think Mavado's too good. Obviously, there's bias because I use the cameo and I enjoy using the cameo. But if you're looking at it, it's just like, what characters are really excelling with Mavado and making him quote unquote busted, broken, whatever? And it's characters like what, Havoc, that would be busted with Tremor or a bunch of other cameos anyways. Like, the problem with Havoc doesn't lie in Mavado, it lies in Havoc, and Havoc having so much dumb things that he has. You have characters like Cyrax and Madame Bo that has insane resets potentials, setup potential that's just absolutely stupid. You got characters like Sector that's just running away all day. And, like, to be honest, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I just think the fact that she has this get out of jail free card with Mataro that lets you do this armor move and then confirm on hit for a full combo, or on block, now you're completely out, full screen, zoning away. I think at the least, like, Mataro should probably take a full cameo bar to do a full screen teleport to get away from your opponent. I feel like at the least it should take a full cameo bar. Now that's just, you know, baseline potential nerf that we could see. I think Sindel is really good, but honestly, I don't know if Sindel really needs a nerf. I just think Tremor needs a little bit of a nerf. I think his cooldowns need to be adjusted, especially when you got like the up punch that just comes back so quickly, and the low ground pound that can make unblockable or hard to blockable situations. I feel like those should take a little bit longer to come back, and I think Tremor should probably just make you minus 50 health. Now, in an ideal world, honestly, I would like all the health value stuff to be just eliminated. I don't think any characters should have plus minus values of health. I think it should all just be base 1000, regardless of what cameo you pick, regardless of what character you pick. Just make it a 1000 HP. I would just put it like that personally. But if they're not doing that, make Tremor give you minus 50 HP, because there's no reason he should be giving you anything. I think command grab combos in general, you got like, you know, Homelander, T1000, Ghostface, and I think there's some Cyrax that are doing these like command grabs that are giving them full combos into setup, sometimes into whatever. Those situations, in my eyes, you should never be getting, like, that should be scaled the same way throws tend to be scaled. I don't think command grab combos should ever go over 20%. Personally, that would be like another just change all around. Command grab combos, they need to just be heavily scaled down, because it is a little bit too silly in my opinion. So those are just some quick changes when it comes to just some of these top tiers, because that would affect them. And you know, when it comes to just Reptile, honestly, there's a lot of stuff, but I don't think I'm gonna just go on a rant about that right now, unless you guys want me to talk more about what I'd like to see for changes for Reptile. Maybe we can make a video about that. But thank you very much for tuning into the video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I know there's a lot of negativity that surrounds this game, but there are still a fair amount of people that do enjoy the game. I do think the game can be really fun to watch. I do think Evo was very entertaining, and I think the level of play was amazing. And I think Final Combat coming up in September is going to be really fun to watch, regardless of whatever happens with the patch. I am looking forward to that. And same thing goes for like versus fighting, which is coming up in just over a week from now. I think it's going to be really entertaining, and I'm going to be restreaming it. And if you guys want to watch, definitely come through the Twitch streams. I'm live all the time. Link is always in the description of my YouTube videos. So thank you very much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.